So, breaking news within the past hour, the Department of Health and Human Services Civil Rights Office released information, made some statements based upon regarding the life issue. And so we're going to bring that to you right now. Here to discuss this announcement is Paula Stannard. She is the director of HHS's Civil Rights Office. Director Stannard, welcome to Washington Watch. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So this, as I understand, and I'm just reading this as this came out, there are three items that were announced today. Let's start with the first one regarding the state of Illinois.
Certainly. So today we issued a notice of violation to the state of Illinois that finds that the referral requirements of the Illinois Healthcare Right of Conscience Act violates two federal healthcare conscience protection statutes. The Weldon and Coates Snow amendments, when healthcare professionals object to providing abortion, because the statute requires that they provide referrals for abortion in order to obtain the protection of that state statute.
So this is protecting the rights of healthcare workers, their conscience rights, so they're not forced to do something that they find morally reprehensible.
Correct. It's very ironic that the state of Illinois statute says that in order to have a protection under the statute for one's objections on religious or conscience, they have to, in fact, refer for the very health service that they object to.
I think this is really important when you consider the type of people you want to come into healthcare that have a conscience, that might be doing this for faith reasons. They want to help other people, but they have to choose. If they're forced to do something that violates their faith, they're going to be driven out of that field of service.
Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why my office, the Office for Civil Rights, is so focused on enforcing the federal healthcare conscience statutes, because of our concern that if healthcare professionals and healthcare organizations are not permitted to follow their conscience, we will have less access to healthcare.
Right.
Not only will people not enter the profession, but people who healthcare professionals who are faithful Christians or Muslims or members of other faiths that have religious or conscious objections to certain healthcare services, such as abortion or sterilization, will be driven from the profession. And when that happens, there's less healthcare all around. And so this is very much, as we see it, an issue not only of conscience and protection of conscience and religious freedom, but also a matter of access to healthcare.
Right. Absolutely, because you have a number of faith-based institutions that are out there. I mean, most of our hospitals in this country were founded by faith-based organizations to begin with. All right, another announcement regarding a Biden-era interpretation of some of these things. So the law is sometimes open to interpretation. You've rescinded some guidance that the Biden administration had put out. Explain that to us.
Sure. So we looked at all of the guidances that the Biden administration's Office for Civil Rights had issued, and have announced that we're rescinding a number of guidance documents dealing with healthcare conscience issues, especially in the area of abortion and protection of human life. So we're rescinding several of these guidance documents. So one was a September 2021 guidance on non-discrimination protections under the Church Amendments. So the Church Amendments protect the exercise of conscience in healthcare with respect specifically to abortion and sterilization, but also more broadly other healthcare services and biomedical research. But several of the provisions protect both people who object to the provision of abortion and sterilization, but also those who would perform those services. And this Biden-era guidance focused on only the protections for those who would provide abortion or sterilization. And that's inconsistent with both the statute as well as this administration's focus on life and on ensuring that the Hyde Amendment is followed. So we've announced the rescission of that guidance document. There was also a guidance from December 2021 on equitable administration of vaccines issued during the COVID pandemic. It relies on executive orders that are no longer in effect, and so we're rescinding that. And then we're also rescinding a 2023 guidance to the nation's retail pharmacy on obligations under federal civil rights laws to ensure non-discriminatory access to health care at pharmacies. And this was really focused, while broadly on health care, it really focused on a number of drugs that can be used to induce abortion, but also might have other uses. And so because it's inconsistent with our understanding of the statute and also inconsistent with the administration's views on biological truth and other executive orders, we're rescinding that guidance document.
Sounds like you've been pretty busy. Should we anticipate some other announcements coming in the days ahead?
Yes. So we rounded out our announcements today with a Conscience Dear Colleague letter that outlines all of the healthcare conscience protection statutes that are specific to HHS and its programs to educate both the regulated entities, which are states and local governments, as well as healthcare institutions, about the statutes that protect the exercise of conscience in healthcare, as well as educating healthcare professionals about their rights under federal healthcare conscience laws. But this is part of our effort to make sure that people understand their rights and obligations and to encourage voluntary compliance with these statutes. But if we receive complaints about potential violations of the statutes or reports that indicate that a regulated entity may not be complying with them, we will launch investigations or compliance reviews.
So how can folks, if they encounter that, how can they contact you?
Sure. On our website, we have access to a portal by which people can file complaints with us and otherwise get in touch with us. And we issued a press release on these activities. That press release also has information and a link to our complaint portal for conscience and religious freedom.
All right, we're going to post that on our website. Director Stannard, I want to thank you for joining us. Appreciate you sharing this information with you and appreciate the work that you're doing to protect the rights of conscience and the unborn.